Crusher!
He's trying to guide, believers to what he truly thinks is right. He's reading from a manuscript of scientific law. Throw away the rest, but you don't need it anymore. Free for sure, the Lord of non-belief. If he can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. A dead day is skipping, we all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing all your dreams. Going to land. Don't believe in cryptids that leave footprints in the sand. Don't believe in spirits appearing from the dead. The only demons out there are living in your head. Dream crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. We all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing all your dreams. Dream crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. We all know what that means.
Hey there, everyone! What's going on? Woohoo! Oh, it's Friday night, and that means it's a Skeptical Help Bar night. And what are we doing tonight? We are doing, HM Paranormal Detective. Thank you for the 1 month membership. I'm going to give shout outs already because we got Kaza that got a new member. We got Blast Rights and Malachi both got their membership. Woohoo! This is starting off a good night after a busy week. Holy shit. Been busy. I've been running around trying to catch up. It was it was supposed to be a 3-day week because we got off Thursday for Juneteenth, and my boss gave us off Friday so we could have a 4-day weekend. But I was in here both Thursday and Friday. And I'll be in here Saturday and Sunday because I got shit to catch up on. Anyway, hello everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Having a good night, good week. Let's say hi to some people. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning because it's so far. Cat Max in the house. It's date night. Blast Rights. Kaza is in the house. Jade Kitten's in the house. We got, who else? Mysteries Untold by Michael Burkeen is here. Good to see you, buddy. Going through. Laura B. Hello. Nice to see you. Malachi is in the house. Blast Rights. Going through. Still going through. There's a lot of conversation in the beginning before the show even started. I love that. I love when people are in there and just having fun. Wondering when she sent me a postcard from hell. Which is probably where I'm going to be going eventually. But I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Who else? Giselle L is in. Devon Zipper's here. Kristen G. We got Julie N. Entity 7 Paranormal Joe Vitale, because he's got to get his free plug in. Dave Schumacher's in the house. Hello, buddy. John without an H. Shauna. Michael Smorto is here. Cat capital K-A-T, Cat, is in the house. Kristen G is here. Beardos does this so much better than I do. Chris Williams is here. He reads them off like that. I don't know how he does it. I wish they would put like a list in, like just give me a list of members so I could just read down the list real quick. But I got to go through all the comments. Truth Haunted World. Hello. Nice to see you. Wayne Dawson's here. HM Paranormal Detective. Making sure I get everybody. Pam Spencer is here. Hello. Diane Wheatley Ganson. Yeah, that's a mouthful. I got to practice that one. Sandra Peachy is in the house. Wow, I think we got some new names here. Some newer names. Anthony Sokol is in the house. Spaghetti, what's up, buddy? I didn't. What happened? I was watching your live and then it cut out, and then I saw like it looked like you tried to come back on and then it wouldn't work because there was like a 12-second video, which was just like a paused screen. So unfortunately, I had to get things done, and I couldn't hang out and watch. Did I win? That's all I care about. Did I win? Let's see. I think I got Richard Demio. I'm sorry. I am horrible with names. I should drink. Caroline Saxby. There's a lot of people. Awesome. Well, I'm happy that everyone's hanging out tonight. I hope you enjoy the show. Tonight, I am not alone. I actually have a surprise guest because I did mention that I'm going to do a Grafton Monster recap. And I figured, why not reach out to the guy that was with me all weekend and see if he. So, you know what? Let me do the rules first before I bring them on. Where are my rules? Boom. There they are. You like that? That was good timing. Rule number 1, you are welcome to ask questions. That's what the show is about, especially when it's open mic night. You can ask questions, throw topics out there, give comments, and we'll discuss it. That's what we do here. It's a learning show. So if I don't know the answer, which is rule number 2, because I don't always know the answer to your question, I'll try to look it up. And if we have a guest like tonight, maybe they can give some input or insight into it. And if not, I'll write it down in my notebook, which I always have by my side, and I'll have homework. Rule number 3 is we follow the Patrick Swayze rule here, and that's be nice. You can be in the chat room. You can discuss things. You can have conversations. You can debate. Just don't devolve into name calling. Basically, the overall simple rule is don't be a dick. I just can't put that up there on the actual screen. So because tonight, Donna's not here. Donna's on vacation. And instead, we have Tim Vickers that's lurking in the background, watching everything you guys type. So if he sees something out of line, we'll boot your ass. So just be nice. That's all. Rule number 4, yes, you'll get Vickered. And we'll get to play. We haven't played your song yet, I think. I think the short version, we've only played it like to show people we have it. I don't think we actually Vickered anyone yet. But rule number 4, if you do have a question for the show tonight, please do us a favor and put a capital Q in front of it. That way it helps Tim pick out those comments from the rest of the discussion going on. And rule number 5 is my favorite all-time across the millennia rule. Drink up. Oh, it's extra special tonight because this is the last Wawa tea that I have. It's the last one. Yeah. I'm gonna have to find an excuse to drive down in the Philly area so I can get more Wawa. All right, so let me bring my guest on. Let me switch here and get Daniel on as he's drinking from his big ass. What, like that's a half gallon, I think, right?
Yep, and I can drink from it all season.
Both days.
Both days.
So let me explain that, because I know we've had events and stuff like that throughout the last couple of days. But so we got there, people are setting up, and one of the booths is a lemonade stand, which is it's a nice, freshly squeezed. The 3 young ladies that were behind the booth were awesome. They were making it. They were rushing around making it each time. and they had these big, I don't want to say it, half-gallon containers. I was going to say they have these big jugs, and I was like, oh, that's going to be bad. But they have these things that, so it was like $6 for a decent-sized cup of lemonade. But then this jug, which is what Daniel has right there, that was $30, but it was free refills. And the sign said free refills all season. And me being like the over fact-checking person that I am, I was like, all season. And she's like, yeah. So the whole festival, right? Both days. I can come back here as much as I want and get a free refill. And they're like, yeah, both days. And you can see, like, they were like, who the hell is this guy? I'm just making sure. I don't want to come back tomorrow morning and not be able to get my free refill.
And actually, wherever we go all season, if you take this cup, you can go there and they will refill it. So if I see them out at another festival, like I'm going to the Bigfoot Festival for a little bit next weekend. I think it's next weekend. And there's a festival we have in my hometown that's this weekend. So if I'm going to take that, and if they are there, I'm going to go up and.
Hell yeah. Might as well, man. I mean, it's a good deal. We filled up. You got to figure, like, the $6 cup was probably about the size, maybe a slightly larger than a red Solo cup.
Yeah.
So that was $6, and this container was like two of those plus some ice that was thrown in. And
well, it's 2 quarts. It's 2 because they had those quart containers that they were mixing it in.
Yeah.
And then they dumped some ice in and dumped 2 quarts in on top of that. So
and we may or may not have added rum to the mix.
Mine had dragon fruit, something or other.
Yeah. I was trying all the flavors, but because they all mixed well with rum a little bit.
At least the people that you shared the rum with, well, Donna shared the rum with. Let me back up. The people that Donna, because
wait a minute, back up, because Donna didn't share it with somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I did. I was making sure if somebody needed rum, I had your back. I was just making sure. Anyway, so we were at the Grafton Monster Festival, and it was 2 days. We set up Friday, got there Friday, Donna set up, and we kind of hung out with her all day. And then Saturday was our day. That was our day to basically work. Friday night, there was a meet and greet where you went into, like, they had a hall that was donated to them for use. And we set up. We didn't know we had tables in there because they had a whole bunch of tables. It was catered. The food was good. I really enjoyed the food. And we went in, did that. Then Saturday we set up. We had various talks. I didn't find the monster at all. I mean, I looked around. We went to a campground because we had. They were nice enough to set us up in a cabin by the lake, which was nice. It was really nice. Good view, but no monsters at all. Lots of deer and
birds. Lots of birds.
Lots of birds that were very loud.
They were. Let's wait a minute. Let's back up. They were just average, normally volumed birds. They were not accessories. You're just not used to wildlife.
They were loud. They wouldn't shut up. I yelled at them several times. But overall, this is probably going to be a quick recap because it wasn't. It was a one-day thing. We sat at our booth for most of Saturday. So you had a booth, I had a booth. What do you think? What was your overall impression?
Oh, I like it. It was we had the people that came up, and as soon as they saw it had anything to do with anything skeptical, they were like, you sons of bitches. And they turned around. That was a look on their face. They didn't actually say it, but they just had this
So wait. Here it is. Here it is. They would walk up like. That was it. No acknowledgement. No, nothing. Just like a look of slight disgust. And
Yeah.
then, on their way.
Well,
So-
because on the West Virginia Skeptic Society logo on the that we have that Tim arranged for, and the young lady, and I can't remember her name, but she did a wonderful job with it. We've got the Mothman, the Flatwoods monster. We have Bigfoot. We've got a little ghost coming out of the. So when you look at it initially, you think, "Oh, that's cool. Hey, these guys are, they're like into this," and then they come up and it says West Virginia Skeptic Society. That sort of is up in the upper corner, and yeah, well, then that's when we get to look.
There you go. There it is.
Yeah.
So it looks good. It looks like, oh, these people are into it.
yeah, and then they just look at us like we're.
Then they see that word skeptic and they're like, okay.
But no, it was good.
Oh, yeah,
No,
it's good. We did talk to a lot of people. We had some interesting conversations with some. I did talk about one on. I did one of my walking thoughts. I think this morning.
It was yesterday.
Yesterday? It was yesterday. Okay.
Pretty sure. Well, yesterday's when I watched it. I don't know. I don't think you did it. I don't think it was this morning.
I don't know. Now you got me confused because I don't know when I did anything.
Hey, let's clarify. I don't have you confused. You are just confused.
You have me confused, sir, with somebody else. Damn it.
I am not responsible for your confusion.
So videos. Let's see, videos, and I did a video today.
Today?
Yeah, it was today. Was it today?
No,
This morning.
no, it was yesterday, the 19th.
No. It was 9 hours ago. 9 hours ago. June 20th.
I swear I watched it yesterday.
You watched one. I did one on the 17th that you probably watched. That was 3 days ago. So you're the one that's confused.
I won't doubt that. I won't doubt that at all. I'll go with that.
But I did talk about it, and it was something that really it annoyed me a little bit. And I want to preface it by saying, well, if you didn't see that video, I'm just referenced. The person that we talked to, I didn't like the tiny little bit of attitude that I got that I'll mention in a second. But several minutes later, we were talking again. So it wasn't a big deal. But basically, we were talking about seeing things or hearing things, and they were talking about a particular experience that they had where they saw what I believe it was like a shirt or a jacket arms. Do you remember exactly, Daniel?
Yeah, it was I think it was a shirt that its arms stood out and then dropped. It was on a coat rack that was right there beside going down the hall.
And we were talking, and the situation kind of it wasn't very detailed. So I don't know if it was late at night. I don't know if he was tired. I don't know this and that. And I just casually mentioned that, it's very easy for us to be fooled because we can think we see something, especially out of the corner of your eye, and realize that we really didn't see it. And he was like real quick to look at me and go, "No, I can't be fooled." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm done talking to you."
The look was priceless. The look on your face. I've known you long enough now that the subtleties of your face. There's no subtlety there. It was just like, all right, I'm done.
Nope. I'm not like, that's where I get to the point where I'm not going to waste time talking to you because it's that mentality of I know what I saw, and no matter what you say, it's not going to change my mind. So, okay. There is no reason to continue that conversation. So I pretty much shut down. I turned around. I looked. Who's next to me on this side? Let me.
That professor guy from Fairmont.
Yeah. Who didn't stay around too long. Oh,
No, actually, but he came back.
he came back. I did see
He
him.
came
Yeah.
back and did his talk, and then left.
Yeah.
So
So, but I mean, like I said, a couple minutes later, I rejoined the conversation, and it was pleasant after that. And we actually talked. He came into my talk later, and um, we chatted some more. And I mean, we parted as on really good terms. So
mhm.
win-win. You know.
I think that he's one of those people that once he sees that we're not assholes
Right.
and not willing to we're not cynics and we just dismiss everything, because we've been at several things together over the years, he and I, and you've been at least 3 now with him, that
Okay.
or maybe 4 that he may have been at that one in Pennsylvania that you were at, that Bigfoot.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is really the first time he talked with me, and we were. I mean, I fully intend on talking to him more, and I told him, I said, if you go out on a Bigfoot hunt, I'd love to go. I'd love to go, and he came back at the end and was showing us the stuff that he'd bought, and I mean, it was really, yeah, that's funny, Tim. Ha ha.
Like that. Whatever. I can see him laughing. That's right. I see you, bitch, back there in the background. Yeah, he's giving us the salute. So yeah, I mean, and I don't want this to sound like condescending or elitist or anything. It was just a conversation we were having, and I had a moment where I was just done, and then we moved on. So, and I think that's the way conversations should go. I'm not going to hold it against them. I'm not going to hold a grudge. It was just something I didn't like what he said, and I didn't find any reason to continue that conversation because I don't think it would have gone anywhere. And
Right.
we moved on. I waited till a different topic came up, and I joined back in the conversation, and it went good from there. So overall, really good. There were a few people. One person was he attended my talk, really nice guy, and then it started going into religious discussion,
Mhm.
and I was like, yeah, I really don't. I said I obviously have different beliefs than you, so I don't think we're going to go too much further with that. And I really didn't want to talk about religion. I was there to talk about ghost hunting and equipment and the science behind it and stuff. I didn't really want to get into a religious debate, especially with where I was. Because
Right.
I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm way too far from home, and I'm pretty sure everyone else has a gun except for me. So I'm gonna be nice with this.
Yeah, I don't. Anytime religion comes up, that's not my thing as far as what I'm interested in investigating. But
Right.
so yeah, so
I mean, I don't mind if that's the gradual progression of a conversation, but
Right.
it kind of took a turn. It was out of nowhere. We were talking about ghost hunting equipment, and all of a sudden he was in preacher mode, and I was like,
Right.
whoa, when did we turn the page? What happened here? But everyone else, I mean, for the most part, there were quite a few people. The one gentleman that was in the back of the audience when I was talking, and he asked the first question about like who I don't know how he worded it, but it was
How did you all get here? How did you get here?
And I thought, I was like, oh shit, like this is going to be bad.
Did the organizers invite you?
And I did. I pointed right to Kit, and I was like, she's right there. And you hear Kit is in the back, and she's like, I invited him.
Yeah.
Oh shit, she gonna get up and cause them trouble. She's gonna cause them ruckus. But he was actually at 180. He was like, well, I applaud you. And he's talking to Kit. And I was like, whew. But he was very happy that we were there, that there was representation of more skeptical and science-minded people there. And I heard that quite a few times at this festival. Quite a few people came up and said, this is great. The one lady that was very talkative, and she said,
wanted a job?
The what?
The one that wanted a job?
Yes. Yes. She said she had her PhD in something and I didn't catch it. And she's like, it's pretty close to anthropology. And I was like, all right. I don't know what you said though, and she kept saying, like, do you need a job? Do you have any jobs open for this or that? I was like, you can volunteer, but there's only one of this job and I have it and I'm not giving it up. But really nice person. And most of the people were nice. I don't think we really had any angry people, or
no.
They just didn't say anything.
Yeah, well, there was that one guy that I really still wasn't sure his reaction. It was the one where you were talking with the daughter, and she asked you the question about do you believe in anything paranormal, and then you were like, no. And then she said, well, have you seen any evidence of anything that's paranormal? And you were like, if I would have changed my beliefs. And
if anything, I think I would have made her angry, and I couldn't help it. That was just out of my control, because when I said that, her husband, like, even before I answered, her husband was like, he rolled his eyes so far around that he pretty much orbited the planet. And I just started cracking up. Because I'm like, his face, like, that pretty much answered the second question, but you asked me the second question. Okay. And I was trying to be polite, but unfortunately I have this issue where sometimes I can't hide the sarcasm in my voice. And,
really? I didn't know. I hadn't noticed that.
It just spews forth. I can't help it. Oh, man. But yeah, I think overall it was a fun festival. There were quite a bit of vendors there. I would have liked to seen a little bit more like history maybe represented. Maybe next year, like reach out to any university or in the area that can bring some history, like a history professor or folklore, and bring that. I mean, we had, I don't know if you would consider it folklore, but it was more on the paranormal believer side of things, presenting folklore with I would definitely say a bias.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I don't want. I don't want to say it bothers me, but it kind of bothers me that we have. Tell me how you really feel.
Show me on the doll. Show me on the monster where the bad man touched you.
That's not funny.
Stop laughing then.
Okay. So even though this has been completely debunked, I mean, Robert Cockrell admitted 50 years later, I made the whole thing up. There are still people out there who are looking at it and trying to come up with ideas about what it could have been. And I'm going, why are you doing? Why? I mean, I don't see the point in once a mystery has been solved. I kind of want to move on. I'm done. I'm like, okay, put that one on the shelf and move on. But, and I think I said in my article that there'll be apologists that come along and are going to try to come up with reasons that, and so we encountered that. And so I'm like, but it says right here, he said he made the whole thing up. So why are you trying to figure out if it's a polar bear or if it was a refrigerator box or if it was a guy on a bicycle? He said in his article 50 years later.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Tim, obscure reference man, is in the house.
Oh, hey, Tim had a birthday. I think Shauna had a birthday, and I forgot to tell her happy birthday.
So this, I'm going to show you. This is a picture of outside the Grafton Monster Museum. That's the window, the show window, and then when you get closer, it's the editorial where the gentleman admits that he made it up. So I give him props. I think that's great that the museum is actually showing that. They're not hiding it or suppressing it. They're saying, look, it's part of our folklore. And I think that's really how they promote it. It's more folklore.
I think so too. Because like even at dinner, I mean, it was like everybody kind of acknowledges that it's their thing, and I appreciate it. I value it for what it's contributed to the mythos of our state. But he made the shit up.
Yeah, and the fact that the one, because I heard the one gentleman, well, there was a few people there. One of them was giving a spiel and doing exactly what you said. They were talking about how it could have been something else. It could have been this. It could have been that. And it was like, I wanted to yell out, it's a fucking hoax.
Yeah.
Stop. But I think we started talking about that while we were still there. And I think the idea is that this is their way to continue sales,
right?
Sales and stuff like that. So they want to continue the book sales, or if they're already working on a book and then realized, shit, I don't want to waste all that time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going with it. And I'm in the same camp as you. That annoys me because you're going to continue to promote a false idea for greed.
Right.
I guess for essentially greed, or you just don't want to waste your time and you're going to do it anyway, just because you don't want to say you wasted your time. Whereas me, if I was doing that, yeah, I'd be like, what the hell? But I'm not going to put it out. I'm going to change it, scrap it, because I'm not going to put out bullshit information.
I mean, I might even go ahead and put it out and then do like a thing at the end that says the reveal or something like that, and say, okay, but so this is what everyone said, and this is what I was actually looking at and working on, but then all of a sudden this happened, and now based upon the evidence, I'm concluding this. I mean, you could still use the material. You could still put your book out. You could still put your article out. You could still whatever it is that they're trying to do. But I don't know. I think that they're perpetuating the mystery for. I don't know. I just don't. I don't. It's dead. It's over. It's done. I mean.
Daniel's getting agitated. You're like, it's fucking done, man. It's done. Just let it go.
I put a knife in its heart. It is dead. It is no longer alive.
It is buried in my backyard. It
is right here. It's as real as that one right there.
This is like the most animated I've seen Daniel. Oh, I'm totally gonna fuck with you later.
Yeah. No.
I'm going to create a different Facebook profile, and I'm going to get into I'm going to get into your West Virginia Skeptic Society and start arguing with you.
Okay. All right.
The monster's real. It's a troll.
It's a troll. It's a troll. It's a troll. My God.
So yeah. Other than that, though, they had the mountain monsters, right? Is that
the guys from Mountain Monsters?
They had them there, and I was already like annoyed with them because you sent me a video a few days before the festival, and the two of these guys are out in the woods somewhere with a golf cart
at the lake. They're at the lake. They're at the lake. Okay,
yeah, where we were.
Yeah.
So they're there, and they make a video saying, "Oh, we got new sightings of the Grafton Monster. We got new sightings." And you said it to me like, this pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
What sighting? Like, what did that? And I was under the impression, which was a wrong impression, but I was under the impression that they had video. So not a sighting, that they had like video or a photo. Somebody got something and they were going to show it. Because I asked them on the thread where they posted that video, like, is this going to be available for analysis? And they said yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. And then we're talking later at the festival, and you're like, no, they're just they somebody saw it, like they just had an anecdote, not an actual.
And then they had a video of the one guy saying, we came across a new eyewitness, and so you could see the other one in the background pointing and talking, but the guy had a hat on and had his back to the camera. But we never heard anything else about that.
Right.
There was nothing, so.
Clickbait. That's right.
Yeah, clickbait, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which that's what they do now for a living. Like the one guy, and that's the thing. I talk to these guys, and this is the part that bothers me. You can go back to your therapist mode now. This is the part that bothers me. These people can be absolutely perfectly nice people, good to talk to, good to get along with. But then when it comes to the certain little elements, they're at least in this case, these two, they're being what was the term Joe Nickel used? Pious frauds. They're being pious frauds.
Yeah.
I mean, they're perpetuating stuff.
Oh yeah, I agree. And there's a different set of rules for them and us. Like they can literally say whatever they want. Doesn't matter. They can say somebody had a sighting. Oh, we just caught a sighting. Somebody has a video. Oh, it got corrupted. We can't show you, but we saw it and it's real. They can say whatever they want. We have rules. We have guidelines that we have to follow in order to present evidence and make sure it's really good and that it survives scrutiny. They can't do. They don't have to do that, and it is definitely the classic superhero supervillain.
We have ethics and guidelines and shit, and they just want to take over the world.
Right. All right, Pinky. And the brain. Oh man. But yeah, after everything was said and done, I mean, we had a good time. It was nice being able to hang out with you and just chill. The cabin was awesome. I mean,
the cabin was great.
Cabin, and it was nice, except for them birds. But everything else.
The birds were wonderful. They brought me peace and inner harmony. I came back a changed man. I'm different now as a result of those birds.
Are you sure it's the birds, or was it the thunderstorm?
Well, the thunderstorm did mess with me.
Yes. We did. We Saturday. I mean, the whole weekend, the weather called for rain, and
it was hot on Friday. Yeah. It was terribly nasty hot,
dry, hot, so bad. That actually at one point, I think I mentioned to you guys, like I was walking around and I had to sit down because I was like, I am way too hot. I'm overheated. I need to sit down and in the shade because if I don't, I think I'm gonna fall down because it was so hot. But then I kept hydrated. That's why I got the big jug and filled it up both days.
Yeah. All season you can't do.
Yeah, all season. I might drive down just to fill it up. Get my money's worth. But Saturday, it was nicer. We got everything set up and made it through, I think, to like 3:30 or 4 o'clock. And then down, like all of a sudden, boom. And
it wasn't just your normal downpour. It was like the firmament opened and there was a deluge from on high.
There was a rift in the space-time continuum, and it was just the bottom of an ocean flooding through.
Yeah,
because it did have flooding.
Oh my! Yeah, there was a I don't know if you saw pictures of it or not. The Grafton Monster Festival folks posted it. It hurt my heart because there was an arcade place in Fairmont where they had some what looks like original pinball machines and like the Space Invaders and all those sorts of original games that was absolutely just destroyed. The whole place was destroyed. there was a building that the side of the building collapsed because of all the water that was the water just poured. I mean, it was nasty. What we got was not good, but it wasn't nearly as bad as some of the other places eventually got.
Right. That's a shame. That really is a shame that it hit like that. Water is better. Wait, what is it? Water is better than lemonade, even if it tastes absolutely refreshing. Oh, see, I can't drink water. I mean, obviously I can, but usually when I drink it, I have to be like after a workout, very, very hot to drink it. Otherwise, like I start to drink it and then like I stop and my body says, no, it doesn't taste right. I don't want to drink it. I don't want to swallow it. So I can't. So that's why I get something with flavor. But it's weird.
I don't. I mean, I'd like a nice cold glass of water, but I like stuff with flavor. I can this is not a purchased a lemonade that's in there. That's my home squeezed fresh lemonade. I like lemonade.
Okay. All right then. I mean, I guess that's it. We covered most of it. I don't.
Well, your sign died.
Who?
Your
my
sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Skeptical Help Bar, the new covers. So the front cover where it says the skeptic is in, and the big sign on top was completely drenched, and it just fell apart. It didn't help that, like, I think it would have been okay, except we got back to the cabin and it was nice out. So we're like, all right, well, let's just spread everything out. We'll put the canopies out, let them dry. We'll put everything like the tablecloths and our clothes, because we were drenched. And you and I, like my tent started to collapse, and that's because like the two front parts weren't locked in place. So, but we did the best we could. And we put everything out, went to dinner. And when we came out of the restaurant, it was raining, and I was like, shit. And it was done. It was done.
What was your question, Kat?
Oh, let's see. What do we got? Oh, Laura B gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Laura. Did I miss that? I'm sorry.
Oh, who ate the most bacon?
At the festival. Oh.
I don't know. I ate quite a bit.
Yeah, and we took a lot home too.
We took a lot home too. Kit fixed us up.
We took a box. I took a box. You had a bag.
I had a bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did take a lot. I mean, I guess we can close out the recap here by saying that the organizers are some of the nicest people you could want to meet. They keep getting beat down. They're trying to fight this city to get more and more, to have this festival to become something really fun for everyone to go to. And they keep getting setbacks, but they keep going. And they are just so nice. They take care of you. Like Kit was always like, if we can't pay you, we're going to feed you. So making sure we had food. They had the Friday night thing was catered. They had snacks. Like Kit and several other people worked all day to make snacks and the breakfast the next morning for us. Like they kept working and working nonstop. Sunday morning, we came back to the art gallery, sat down, eggs, French toast sticks, bacon. It was just, oh my God, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I did not leave hungry. I definitely gained a few pounds. So going to feed you as much of West Virginia as you can get. I'm fine with that. That was.
She had a charcuterie board there in the little kitchenette that was where we were speaking at the city hall place. They had fruit, vegetable. I mean, they're just good people.
And if you asked, they tried to go out of their way to make sure they could help you if they could. Just really, really nice people. And I'm glad that we had the chance not only to be there, but also really get to know them. Like last year we went and I feel like we became instant best friends with them last year. And this year it was like a reunion. And I mean, as soon as we saw them, big hugs, and just talking and laughing and just having a good time with them and being able to sit. Even Sunday morning, we sat down and Alicia, she asked, she's like, all right, you guys are here. Like, give me feedback, give me criticism, tell me what we could do better, what we could do without. And we were honest with her, and she was great, wasn't mad or didn't take criticism and get depressed or deflated. She was like, okay, great. And we discussed it even more to make it better for next year, even though unfortunately I won't be there next year. Because we have a SciCon is the same, is probably going to be the same weekend. And even if it's not, I'm just going to be too busy here.
Did you tell Kit yet?
I did.
Okay.
And she was disappointed, but she also called me off guard. She's like, well, I'd like to go there too. I go to SciCon instead too. So we'll see. It's I mean, it's in Buffalo next year, Kit. You want to come up and visit. But yeah, other than that, and then the sign, the Skeptical Health Bar sign is destroyed, but the frame is still there. I'm going to improve the frame so it's a little bit stronger, because I've noticed that because of the table and people tend to lean on it, and it's not made to be leaned on. So I'm going to make it so that it's still not made to be leaned on, but it won't be as like panicky when people do. And I already started looking into the corrugated plastic, and I think I'm going to get some of that instead of cardboard. That way I'm not worried about the rain or the water or anything like that. So, all right, cool. You want to stick around, do some questions?
Sure, I can stay around. Yeah.
Awesome. You ain't got nothing to do.
I ain't got nothing to do. My nieces are here, but Anne's keeping them entertained, and so.
Okay, good. All right, so Tim, look at that. Bam, Tim's on ball. John without an H. I've heard some believers say that professional skeptics who get paid to be a skeptic have an incentive to not believe because their income relies on it. Thoughts on that? That's interesting. I understand that. I can understand that. Like I'm not paid to skeptic. That's one thing I can say. I'm not paid to skeptic. I'm paid to investigate. And also, that's only a small part of my job. Like, even though that's my title and it is a main component, it's just part of my job. The other parts have to do with like daily activities here, other events that we have planned, promotion of science and critical thinking, teaching people how to understand what skepticism is and all that. So, but I don't have an incentive to not believe. And I've stated quite clearly many times on this show, and also to the people that I work for, that I don't believe because of lack of evidence, but if there's enough evidence that would show something to be real, I'm going to shift my worldview, because that's what I've been preaching. So if the science goes that way, I'm going that way, regardless of my personal beliefs or lack of. So, and plus, I think it really comes down to showing your work. I will put my work up against people on the other side, because if I'm presenting it, I usually have enough to back it up. Maybe here and there, I will admit that I could have done better over the years with certain aspects, but I will go back and look at it and say, all right, well, maybe that is true. I don't know. Let me test that. Let me reevaluate or revisit that experience or that claim. Let's go there. But I'm not going to dismiss something just to dismiss it because I'm paid to not believe, because I'm not paid to not believe. And I think you guys, everyone watching and everyone that does follow my work, would call me out. I think they would definitely call me out, and you would recognize it, because I put everything out there. So if I'm hiding stuff, I think you'd understand. I think you would know. I think professional skeptics would still be curious and research the weird and wonderful if they weren't paid. Yeah, I was doing it before I was paid.
I was going to say that I'm not a professional skeptic. I think I'm a semi-professional skeptic.
You're a celebrity.
I'm a diva.
You're a celeb.
Yep. Anyway, but I I put a lot more money into this than I have ever gotten out of it. So, and I don't anticipate that that I'll ever make a great amount of stuff. Yeah, I'm a minor league skeptic. That's right. That's exactly right. I agree. I agree. So,
I don't know. I think I don't know if you're a minor league, because I mean you've made an impact. You're speaking at different events. You've been to SciCon several times now. You've written for the magazine. You've done your own video series. You do a lot. I think you're up. I think you're in the major leagues. Whatever. Because you don't have a cool office like mine. Nobody has a cool office like mine. Nobody.
Nobody has an office like yours. I've been around a lot of places, a lot of time. I've been, no one has an office like yours.
No, I mean, I understand the argument though, because I do see it. I see. I'll start with believers. I see a lot of diehard believers that will believe no matter what. And when you bring an argument to them that effectively debunks the claim that they're making, instead of acknowledging it, they usually just stop talking to you and stop the argument. They go somewhere else.
Right.
And they want to continue to believe no matter what, because they have a vested interest. Yeah.
Right.
If they are making money
Part of
from
who
you,
they are.
yeah. If they're making equipment that's being sold, they're going to hang on to that. If ghosts suddenly become a reality, that doesn't mean I'm out of a job. That doesn't mean that every alleged experience is true. You're still going to have people claiming that places are haunted with really bad evidence, and they will still warrant an investigation to show, like, all right, it's not what you think it is. So even if it's proven to be true, that's still going to leave a whole bunch of other places that still don't have enough evidence, or mistaken, or hoaxing, or what have you. So there's still plenty of work to do.
To me, a skeptic is a philosophical standpoint. That is where you are in terms of your personal philosophy. So, if you're a professional skeptic, like you said, I don't know that there. I think that is you're like you said, you're an investigator. You're a professional investigator that just happens to be in a skeptical
organization
environment. Yeah, organization.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still expected to investigate honestly.
Right.
At no time am I told, no matter what, don't say this is true.
Right.
That's never come across my desk, never been implied to me, never been hinted at. And like I said, like from the beginning, if I find something and it turns out to be true, so be it. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to report on. I'm not going to change the facts to suit what I want to believe, because what I want to believe so far has not come true.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody's saying. They're like, okay, so you don't believe in anything. No, it's not that I don't. What I believe in is the truth, and so what I want is the truth. And if there was enough evidence, if somebody came in with a Bigfoot body, hey, I would love it, because that would change my outlook on life. I mean, it would be like, aha, it does exist. Or like Mulder's, the poster he has where he said, I want to believe. I don't think that, that people interpret that as, maybe as being on the other side of the fence, as it were. I don't. I mean, I want to believe. I want there to be aliens. I want there to be a Bigfoot. I want there to be a Loch Ness monster. But I just can't see that there is, based upon the evidence so far. So,
right, yeah. All right, moving on. What else we got, Tim? Chris Williams, Kenny, do you guys get rejected a lot when it comes to going to those conventions, or is it 50-50? I'll let you start this one.
Well, there is a particular convention in the state where, okay, so I apply. There he goes again. I apply to the different places. Like, so for example, there's West Virginia has an incredible amount of cryptid festivals and fairs and festivals, and some of them I have applied to. There's just been one or two I haven't, but most of them I have. Okay, so this one in particular, that I wanted to go because I was like, okay, this would be a good place. It's not too far from where I live. So I go there. All right. I emailed in. I didn't hear anything, and I didn't hear anything. And so lo and behold, I got a message back later when I made an inquiry. I said, how, I was curious. And they said, no, we don't want you here. We don't think that we don't want a skeptical presence at our conference in any capacity. And so, yeah. So I was like, well, okay. So I showed up at the conference the next week, the few weeks later when it was open, and I walked in. When I walked in, the cool thing is that there's people that I've met from these other conferences, and they were coming up, hey, Daniel, and they were shaking my hand, and we were talking, and we were getting along fine. I mean, but the one person who was in charge of it that sent me that little nasty email, he started side-eyeing me. He was like, and so, and I could see him going to some people and start to sort of say some things. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw him go up to somebody talking to the one member of this team, and he went up to the other guy and he started whispering and I saw the guy go like that and sort of just brush him off. And so, the Grafton Monster Festival is unique in the sense that they welcome us with open arms. These other places, I'm trying to get into them. So I do have a lot of rejection in this state in terms of conventions, but in terms of like other speaking engagements, their word has gotten out and they want that. They want more of these types of presentations. But as far as the conferences and conventions go, the Grafton Monster is the only one I've been able to get into so far.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it would be 50-50. I really haven't asked too much. There's been a couple conferences that I've been to. The one that Dave Schumacher and I went to in Virginia, they asked us to be there, which was nice. Open arms, really nice people. And of course, yeah, the Grafton Festival asked us to be there. There were several that I turned down this year just because nothing personal against them. It was just I had been there so many times that I wanted to devote my time and budget money to different venues, new experiences, to get into new places and stuff. But they still reached out and said, hey, are you coming this year? And I said, no, I can't make it this year. I want to go somewhere else, and it kind of conflicts, and I only have so much resources to spread around. And I mean, they were upset, which, like, not mad, but sad that I wasn't going to be there, which is, I mean, it makes me feel good in a weird way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's some places I have asked, and I usually just don't get anything back. And that's when I know, I don't get a reply. I don't even get the courtesy of a nasty gram coming my way. It's just nothing. And in some cases, I just show up. I don't bother to set up a booth. I'm just going to show up. And,
yeah.
I mean, that works much better because, first they don't realize who you are, and you can get in and walk around. But I want to make it clear, I'm not there to cause trouble.
Right. Yeah.
Or anything like that. I'm there because I'm curious. I want to ask questions. I want to learn what people are doing. So,
and you want to see if there's, for me, I want to see if there's anything. Hey, there's Kit Ford. If there's anything new, that's presented, if somebody comes out and says, hey, we've got this evidence for Bigfoot, or we have this evidence for the Mothman that they're showing there, then I want to see it. I want to see what they've got. Like, who would have thought we would have found, had it gotten a cast of a chupacabra in West Virginia?
right, which is not. But it's a different story. But we still got one. It looks great on the shelf out here. By the way. All right, so we are at 1 hour. Before we get to this question, I'm going to hit the commercial thing, and we're gonna take our break. So let me see here. Let me find it. We will see everyone back here in 4 minutes and 9 seconds from now.
And now for something completely different.
Welcome, my fellow skeptics. Welcome, one and all. I am the chief investigator. Oh, come along, old chap. We will have a ball. Now, if you will excuse me, it's time to open the mic. Good night. Good night. Kenny Biddle's the name, investigating's my game, and I will have at it. Quid pro quo. As the head of this committee, hunting for ghosts can be shitty, but there is nothing better that I know. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright? Maybe you might find an answer or two. I will find the truth this night and day, and if my name is not Kenny Biddle, then I assure you here I will not stay. Good day! Kenny Biddle's the name, ghost hunting's the game. I won't let anything get in my way. Too many fakers out there, too many chefs, too many clone tappers, none of it makes any sense. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright? Maybe you might find an answer or two. Who knows? There may be ghosts in the machine, but trust me, I am not so keen. I prefer to see these things clearly, not in 144 clean. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open my night. Yeah, yeah. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open my night. Yeah. If you have an answer or two, let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. Let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. The one and only Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny
What's up? We are back. All right. So let's jump back into these questions because we got a few. Daniel, what's your favorite theory about Bigfoot?
Well, I don't really have one.
What the hell was that? Oh man, let's get that dog.
No, I really don't have one. I think that it's for me, it's probably a combination of a lot of things. It's either misidentification, where somebody has seen something, but they really did see something, but they thought it was something else, or it was something else other than what they thought they saw.
Right.
That's number one. Number two is falsification, where somebody has presented something that is just absolutely a hoax, and somebody has believes it, and based upon what they're saying, whether it's a fake footprint or a fake video or something like that. Hallucination is my third go-to, and I think that those are probably a very small percentage of the population, but nevertheless, and I tell in one of the presentations I do, I tell the story about my dad who had a brain tumor, and at one point, and he would see things, and he would tell you that he saw this stuff, and you would believe him. I mean, at least I did. And then I went over and started looking around. I was like, well, that didn't happen. But he truly believed what he saw. And then the fourth is that it's real. So those are my four go-tos in terms of what it possibly, in terms of the answers of what it could possibly be. But probably for me, it's a combination of things. I think that people misidentify things, whether it's a bear, whether it is a stick in the woods, or a trunk of a tree or something. Pareidolia comes into it.
Wait, I think, I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if everyone can hear that. I don't know if that's the right one either. You probably won't hear it.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. I don't know if everyone else can hear it. I played a sound effect. I don't know if anyone can hear it or not. Last time I did it, it didn't come through.
Well, anyway, so pareidolia. Anyway,
oh my God.
So anyway, yeah. Well, I'll have to sing it again sometime once I remember the words to it. It's been a while.
Yeah, there's only one word.
No, it's not. It's not like. Let's see. No, it's all did on there, but there's more words to the song.
Oh, okay.
Is that a face on that potato? Pareidolia, pareidolia.
I don't know why my mixer is not playing the sounds that I have on there. I mean, they're on there and it's coming up on my the screen. It's the volume's going up and down as it's playing, but I don't know why it's not. And I hear it when I have headphones, but
Pinky said they heard some random noises. That's just me talking.
That's just him. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite idea of what Bigfoot is when it was the guy. What's her name?
Melba Ketchum?
No, Guiley. Something Ellen.
Mary Ellen Guiley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it went into it being like interdimensional being.
Yeah.
And then other people slapped on the $6 Million Man story of it being a interdimensional being that's here scouting for the alien overlords and stuff like that. Which is
what they said the Grafton Monster too. That was Ray Barker's take on that. So, but
the letter says like it's an advanced scout or something.
Yeah. Like they talked about, he said, when our government goes to another planet, they take monkeys and they will drop them off onto the planet's surface, and then they will retrieve them later and run experiments on them to find out. So basically, they're like living probes.
Right.
So Kristen G, I was watching in the comments there. Kristen G said she was having a conversation with her brother or brother-in-law about it being an interdimensional being.
Right. Yeah. It's strange. Okay. Moving on. What else we got? Aaron, do you guys think when a mystery is solved, you would find value in maybe looking into the psychological or maybe sociological reasoning of why some want the mystery to persist? It's always interesting. I mean, that's exactly what we did. We started talking about it at the festival, discussing it, and I guess my idea here is that, yeah, Tim Vickers always does. I think the idea is that it becomes part of their identity.
Mhm.
They've invested so much time and effort and many times money into the subject matter that to let it go is just too difficult.
Mhm.
And it's an attempt to keep it going, ignore the cold hard fact of, like in this case, of the monster being a story that was made up and the original creator admits it. Like, ignore that and continue on with the story, because for the most part, especially in this case, if you don't read skeptical material, you're not going to see that.
Right.
You're
Right.
probably not going to see it. So it's beneficial for them to continue the hoax or continue the story, build upon the story, and like we were overhearing, come up with all different kinds of reasons why it might be something else, a different creature, a different being, something, because you keep that story going,
Mhm.
and it's profitable. That's really what it comes down to. It's profitable,
Yeah.
whether monetary or fame. It gets you out to festivals, it gets you speaking engagements, which means you get free stays usually for the weekend, or you get invited to places where you can sit up and sell your wares. So that's my take on it. What
But
do you think?
the psychology of it, it meets a need that the person has, whether that need is something that's intrinsic or something that's extrinsic. So that whether it's money, whether it's attention, the attention could be, whether it is the motivation from the outside, but it's some sort of for me, it's some sort of a need. And there's this whole idea of what in psychology called needs reduction theory. So that you have this need and you try to reduce your need. So if you're hungry, you eat. If you're sleepy, you go to sleep. That sort of thing. So if you have that belief, maintaining that belief does something for that person. So.
Okay. Good question.
Oh, and Kristen popped up there again. I want to go back. She said something about she thought that was an interesting conversation. Kristen, I wasn't trying to knock on that, but that was yeah. If they even exist, just the idea I've heard often lately, and it's thought provoking. There's a lot of people who bring that up, but then the thing for me is that which is the easiest explanation? What is the when you look at Occam's razor, what is the answer, or that has the fewest variables, the fewest things that you have to create? So which is more reasonable, that someone saw something that they misidentified, or that this creature came from this dimension which we don't even know exists? But because we don't know it exists doesn't mean that it doesn't, right? So but which is the more likely of the two? So
without invoking, yeah, and I think it's a good when you are already into beliefs that have no evidence, nothing to substantiate them, you're fantasy prone. That's what I think. That's what I'm looking at. When you're already in that idea of fantasy prone syndrome, where you're more likely to believe things without evidence just because you want to believe. When these new ideas come up, it's thought provoking, but in a different way, where it's like, oh, maybe it is. That'll explain why they disappear. We can't find a body. We never find a body. And that rationale, that way of thinking, tries to justify everything with this new idea, and it becomes very popular. So people start talking about it. You hear it on TV shows. You read it in books. You see it on websites, and it gains popularity simply because it's the new thing to talk about. And it's a shame that it's very rarely is it questioned in those circles.
Oh yeah, they get mad. Some of these people get really angry if you like. I was literally hissed at a Bigfoot. They hit. So okay, so I thought that was something they just did in movies, like when people go boo. No, it really happened.
You see their story.
I they were kind of behind, so yeah, we went to the Bigfoot festival, and we're sitting there. There's this guy, and he's up there, and he's giving his spiel, and he said, "Are there any skeptics in the room?" And so Tim was not there yet. This was the conference. This was the time Tim came up, and I believe it rained then too. But so my buddy Chris was there. We raised our hands, and these people, this lady, she booed. People booed, but this one lady hissed. And I'm thinking, what 1940s film did you come from where you hiss at somebody? Yeah, it was.
That's funny.
And so what's funny was, she got into this whole idea that they were spiritual. This one lady, and it was a different lady that was when she started asking questions, that it was a spiritual being or it was an interdimensional being. And so then she started trying to relate it to the Bible. And the guy got really uncomfortable because he didn't really want to say, I mean, you could tell by the look on his face, he did not want to go down this path. So even within believers, there's people who think that it's an actual physical creature like Jeff Meldrum. And then you've got people all the way over here that believe that it's some sort of interdimensional. Cat Mac. Thank you, Cat. And so, but these people that's on this side think that these people are crazy, and these people think that those people are crazy because they limit themselves. It's an interesting paradigm when you go and watch this.
That would be interesting. I've never been hissed at.
Yeah.
And I think it would stop me. It would stop me dead. Like, did you just hiss? I'd have to turn around and say, like, did you really do that? What are you gonna attack? Like, what are you hissing for?
You have fangs? Like, are you Dracula in real life?
Can you not say boo? Is there a problem there? All right. That's weird.
Oh, but I saw somebody. They said somebody asked the question about has anyone ever found Bigfoot poop? And there are claims that there is Bigfoot poop. Yes.
Yeah. As far as I know, though, none of it has been tested, at least tested positive for a unknown creature.
Right.
So, yeah, Bigfoot scat. That's what they call it. And I look around, but I don't know one shit from another. So,
well, interestingly, I know my shit. Okay.
Oh my God! This
living
turning point in the show.
Living in the country, and I have found out in my front yard. I found bear scat. I mean, there's black bear in and around this area, and I actually took a picture of it. So yeah, there's deer, there's scat, and so
you took a shit pic.
I took a shit pic.
Oh boy!
Take pictures of mushrooms too.
Oh boy! Don't get me started.
I'm not.
That's an inside joke that I do not want to explain or explore right now.
Oh, we won't.
You and your mushrooms.
Yeah,
let's move on quickly to another question, Tim. Thank you. Has anyone ever been to Stonehenge?
No,
I have not.
I was in the area, but I didn't get to go. So
what the hell?
I was like on a tour thing, and it wasn't on the stops. I was in northern, the mid to northern, and then we went down and across the channel over into France, but I didn't get to make it over to Stonehenge. So
I've never been there. I've the only time I've been out of the United States has been to Canada, so I really don't count that. And I'd like to get over there, but I recently learned that Buffalo has a cemetery with a mini Stonehenge in it. So I did look it up. I did find it. I found the cemetery. It's only a few minutes. away, so I might be going there this weekend just to check it out to see it. So I'll post pictures. What kind of damn tour doesn't take you to Stonehenge? I want my money back. I know, right? Like, you're right there.
I know, but I'm like, and that didn't work out. It just didn't work out. But my hope is to go back at some point in time. So
I would love, I mean, I really want to do a tour. I'd love to be able to take a month and just tour some of the countries over there and hit all the good spots, the major touristy spots, but also some of the offbeat, off track places, and see everyone. We have so many people that follow the show from the UK and surrounding areas that I would love to be able to have the opportunity to meet everyone, hang out, and just, grab a pint in every pub all over the place.
pint of ale or a pint of bitter.
Yeah. Whew. All right. Moving on. Dun, dun. Devon Zipper. How do you get paid to be a skeptic? You got to know the right people.
You work for years and years.
Yeah, basically. I was doing videos and writing a vlog, or I was writing a blog and doing videos on my own for quite some time. And then I started the Facebook page, I Am Kenny Biddle, and I was posting a lot there, like different reports and science and skepticism stuff there. And I was convinced by a friend to submit an article to Skeptical Inquirer. And that's when I started talking to Ben Radford. And at the time, he was doing what's called Skeptical Briefs, which was a newsletter that was, so Skeptical Inquirer magazine is every other month. And this newsletter filled in every other month from that, which was great. I loved it. It was a great little newsletter. This is what it looked like. And it was just a lot of fun. Hey, that's my article right there. That's my first article that I ever wrote for a skeptical outlet. And it took me a while. It was a big learning curve for me because I never did it in a magazine or even a newsletter that was so like, where'd you get this information? Cite all your sources. Do this. How do you know this? Asking me questions. And I was like, fuck, Ben. What the hell? But it was really cool. I did that for a couple years. I was writing for that. I started writing for the magazine. And after a few things, they were like, you want to do a column for us? Like a paid column? So I got paid for articles that I sent in. And then they realized I was doing videos, which were doing more and more. And they were like, you want to do it for us? I said, yeah, sure. So it kind of blossomed. Like I was in with the right people. I got to meet the right people at the right time, and word of mouth spread. That's always been my go-to. I don't advertise. I then I bribed Barry Carr. That's right. But then I came in here. After some, I got one of these plaques here that I became a fellow for CSI. They voted me in as a fellow, and to me, that was like one of them. That was the most that was the greatest award I've gotten because it was something that I was so passionate about, and the community is something I care about so much, and to be accepted like that was awesome. And then when Joe Nickel was going to retire, they offered me the job. So that was my long-winded way of saying this is how you become a paid skeptic. I mean, you can be other ways. You can write a column for a newspaper or a magazine if they do that kind of thing. Some outlets will pay for submissions, most don't. And you just gotta keep working. You gotta do your job. Do this job. Let me rephrase that. You have to do this hobby like a job. That's what you have to do. You have to put all your heart and soul into it and do a good job every time, even if you don't get anything from it, because that shows commitment and dedication. And that's what I look for when I see people out there writing an article and they put so much of themselves into it, and I only see one article, I'm going to reach out to them and say, hey, you did a really good job. Do more. Like, let me see more from you. I'd like to. What do you need? What can I help with to get this going? And then that's it. You got anything to add?
Well, I like I said, I've done this now for I don't know how long, and I don't make much money at all doing this, and for me, it's not about the money; it's about the work. So, being a paid skeptic, I just yeah, I would like to make more money doing it, but if I don't, I don't. It's like this. It's not my full-time job. My full-time job is as a school counselor, and I get my summers off, and I'm able to go. It allows me enough freedom that I'm able to go do the things that I like to do and that I want to do. So, yeah, the idea of being a paid skeptic, while intriguing, it's not my goal. I mean, yeah, I do appreciate them when I do get paid for something. I do appreciate that, and so, but that's not my goal.
And I want to clarify too. I'm not a paid skeptic. I'm a paid investigator.
Right?
That's
yeah.
I mean, we're kind of joking here and letting the slang come through, saying paid skeptic, but that's not my job.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And honestly, I do investigations, but I call myself an investigator in certain circumstances because it helps people to understand what I do with this. But yeah, I'm not a debunker. I don't go into debunk. I go in to investigate.
Right. Even though so many people call me a debunker, I am not a debunker. That's not what I go in to do. It's not what I set out to do. But it ends up doing it. I mean, that's the result usually.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Grafton Monster.
Yeah.
I mean, I went in to investigate that because I was curious. It's the one thing that kept coming up, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to look into this at some point in time. And so I did, and lo and behold, bam, it debunked itself.
I like. Thanks for the serious reply, folks. I've been wasting my potential all these years being skeptical. Well, I mean, honestly, when I started, a lot of the stuff I did for free. And I still do a lot of stuff for free. Some of the events that I go to, I mean, that's on me. It's not something the company pays for, because I choose to be there. And if because usually we're a nonprofit. I think most people don't realize that we are a nonprofit organization. So it's not like we have millions of dollars to spend on whatever we want. I have a very small budget to work with, and that's mostly for investigations. So if I need to get something tested, to pay for a lab to test it, if I need to get a certain piece of equipment in order to properly investigate something, that's what I do. So most of these times when you see me going to conventions, for the most part, it's my dime. It's my personal money that I'm spending to get there and stay there, and even to speak sometimes. Because, I mean, paranormal themed conferences are really the people that I want to talk to. You go into skeptical and science conventions are great. Don't get me wrong. I will continue to go to them all the time. But for the most part, we're preaching to the choir there. I want to go to paranormal themed conferences. And, in rare situations, we get people that do help out, and like the Grafton Monster Festival, really great. Like I said, they put us up at the lake. They fed us bacon, love it. But most places aren't like that, and so I'm still doing a lot of stuff for free, and I don't mind doing that because I'm getting the word out there.
Right.
It's just when some places that are like TV production crews that call up and say, hey, drive out here to New York City, which is 7 hours away, and stay here for 2 nights and then go home all on your own dime so you can work for me, doing a interview for their TV show. Like that I don't do, because I'm not spending like $1,500, $2,000 for what? Like a few minutes to be on TV, and it just doesn't help many people, especially when it's a paranormal show, and it's they're not going to give me equal time. It's probably going to be really leaning to the believer side. So, all right, I get off my soapbox now. Kenny security for free. There you go. Goes to bed early, avoids all confrontation. Oh. All right. Sandra. Peachy. I work in aged care facility in 11 years. Oh, for 11 years, I guess. I have had 2 weird things happen to me there. Question, Kenny, what do you think about things that happen that you can't explain or debunk? So, in this situation, my standard reply will be something to this effect. I can't explain everything. If I investigate something, if somebody brings me a story, or if I'm in a location, I can't always come up with an explanation if I don't have all the information. And it's very hard. Like in this situation, you're asking me about something that happened to you, but I have absolutely no details. So I can't really answer your question because I don't know what happened. If you can't explain it, we are all limited on our knowledge base. I have all the knowledge that I've accumulated over my 50 plus years. Daniel's has his knowledge base he's accumulated over his like 70 or 80 plus years. But there's some overlap there, but not everything overlaps. So I might have an experience where I'm like, I don't know how this happened, but he might have the knowledge that helps understand it. So in that case, in relation to your question here, I might not be able to explain it, but somebody else could. Like Daniel might be able to do it, or Tim Binga in the chat. He might have knowledge that helps me explain it, or anyone else that's in the chat might have experience. I mean, when the non-paranormal article that I wrote about my mailbox getting destroyed, I had community help from someone that was a manager at an auto parts store, and he could look up information that I didn't have access to. So he had knowledge that helped me out with something I couldn't explain. So it was just, I hope that makes it clearer that even if you can't figure it out, it doesn't mean that it can't be explained. There might be an explanation. You just don't have all the information, or maybe you don't have the necessary experience to understand what's going on. And saying that, I'm just going to cover my ass and say, I'm not saying you're dumb or stupid or anything like that. It's just, if we don't have specific experience in something, we don't know. That's it. And we won't know that we don't know until somebody else that has that experience tells us, and then we learn from that. I hope that answered your question. And Daniel, yeah, please add.
It's like the thing I talked about in the presentation, the Jimmy Carter experience, where Jimmy Carter said he didn't say he saw a UFO. He said he saw something, and he didn't know what it was. And so it was decades. It was like in 1969, I think it was, when he saw these lights in the sky. He was at a Lions Club dinner, and so they were out on the porch, and they saw all these lights in the sky. And so Jimmy Carter was an amateur astronomer. He was a navigator. He was in the Navy, I believe. He was a man of science, and so he knew what he was looking at. And so all these different people came along with these explanations of, oh, well, it was Venus. He saw Venus. And Jimmy Carter was like, no, it wasn't Venus. That was not what I saw. But he didn't jump to the conclusion that it was an alien, or he just made the statement that this is something that he saw, but he didn't know what it was. So then it was in, I think 2016, maybe, this guy was reading and I can't remember his name without my without my prompt. He was reading a history of Jimmy Carter, and this guy happened to be an atmospheric scientist or something and he worked in his 20s with the Navy, or the Air Force. And so he saw that, and he started putting things together, and he wrote this explanation up about how it was these rockets that had been launched into the sky, and they had released barium and like cupric sulfate or something, and it was meant to study the magnetic fields of the Earth. And so he said, this is what it looks like when this happens, because you have these different colors. And he submitted that through channels to Jimmy Carter, and Jimmy Carter came back and said, yeah, that makes sense. That's what. So just because you don't have the answer doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't. And the other thing is, it might take years in order to come up with that answer that's satisfactory, because a lot of people provided Jimmy Carter answers, but Jimmy knew that I don't know what it was, but I know it wasn't that. So,
right, and that you make a good point. Some of the cases that I take on either for work, or I know they're going to eventually be for work, because I can see that this is going to take some time. I'm going to have to send out requests to various facilities or organizations requesting records, and I know it's going to take a long time. The case that always comes to mind is the Rose Mackenberg case of me trying to find where she's buried. And I filled out all the necessary paperwork for her death certificate, and it took, I think, 4 years to get it. And I had completely forgotten that I had sent away for it until it showed up in the mail. And it's like, here you go, I got it. So, I mean, it sometimes it just takes time and more experience interacting with other people that can school you, like in a good way, That's why my motto here is never stop learning, because the more you learn, the more things become understandable. And the more the grander the scope of your understanding becomes of this world. And it's an amazing thing. So I don't know the details of the specific cases that you're talking about, but I mean, feel free to email me if you want to. Send me write up something that says, hey, this is what happened to me. There's my email scrolling across the bottom here. Send me an email and we can talk about it. I can't promise you I'll get an answer, but I might be able to offer some ideas, suggestions or something, that speculating what might have happened, but without actual information, I don't know. So, all right, good. That was good. That's good. I like it. It's so cool how like a somewhat simple question, like what you would think might be an easy, like, I don't know, kind of question, turns out to be like, we're going to discuss this for 10 minutes. I love that. I love this show. I love you guys. All right. What else we got, Tim? Carl, Kenny Q. I've seen people say that this is a registered haunted event. Who registers them? Well, I'll tell you what. For the low price of $59.95, if you send me a check, I will put you on a registry that says you are an officially haunted location. And just make the check, send it to the email below, and we'll be good. You can Venmo. I take PayPal, stuff like that. No, in all seriousness, these are scams. Honestly, these are scams. When they say they're registered, it is literally somebody that's just said, you know what, I'm going to start a website and I'm going to say, register with me and I'll promote your place as haunted. And whether they charge or not doesn't mean anything. It's not been, there's no certification. There is no process which certifies or tests this. I mean, except for science, but these are scams. Like, that's it. That's all I got to say about that, because it's just a scam. Anything to add?
Well, Yeah, I mean, it's like there's those websites where you can have your day of proclaimed, like where it's International Talk Like a Pirate Day, or whether it's whatever it might be. They charge you an exorbitant amount of money to register with them, and so like it's like $900. Like I would try to get the Critical Thinking Awareness Day. That's why I elected to go through official channels, because I wanted something that was more official than that. And so that, yeah, they'll put it on their calendar for however long, forever, but after you pay your $900 or whatnot. But I mean, there's no reason to shoot. We could do that. We could set up a website and like have your officially debunked place or whatever. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure people would love that. Not haunted. Don't come here.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's not. There's nothing
Not
here.
on it. No, there's no legitimate source or organization that does that. So if someone, especially if they're paying for it, I mean, it's like Daniel said, all those websites that you can name a star, like,
Yeah.
they're just sending you a poster they made. It's not any official register. It's not like, oh, for all of time, that star is now whatever you named it. It already has an official name. I guarantee it. It's already got an
P5RJES 302-6.
Yes. So yeah. Avoid those at all costs. We should do that though. We should put like certified debunked and have
The
like
first one is Zach Baggins's
number one, never to lose its number one spot.
Yes.
Oh man, that was good. That's an idea. I'm writing that down. Debunk register.
I started to do a website where people could. I completely random. I started to do a website where people could put unicorn sightings and evidence of unicorns. So like they take pictures of the track, like it could be a horse track or whatnot, and then have it. So like they have the BFRO website where they investigate all the. But I would have it as a unicorn sighting.
That would be great. You could have fun with that.
I could.
That would take a lot of time though. I can see that
unicorn poop.
It's got glitter in
it. and like I could have my lab jacket on and I could be an official scatologist.
Oh my God. That's a scatologist. That's fun. Yeah. All right. Shit and rainbows. Obscure reference man. Daniel.
JC Penney.
Where do you get your jackets? From the closet of Joe Nickel.
Listen, I like corduroy jackets. I can't help it. Before I even knew who Joe Nickel was, I had corduroy jackets. I've had jackets with the. I'm an academic, I mean, it's like that's the thing I do.
What is that, a requirement?
Yes.
I'm an academic. Well, here's your corduroy jacket.
That's exactly right. I have a pipe I don't smoke either, but there you go.
Oh, my goodness.
I love you, Tim.
Oh, skeptologist. That's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
A skeptologist. Oh, all right. I'm going to have to do all these t-shirts this weekend, too. All right. What else we got? Ghost Wiener. Hello, buddy. He has got a great profile. Would you rather have hairless date or seedless grapes as a... Wait, what?
Okay, I'm not even going to...
Dates? The kind you eat?
Or the kind you go out on?
Yeah. Maybe that is. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was dates.
Yeah.
All right, they're right. Yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
My bad. I was wrong.
I was making a double entendre comment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Would you rather have hairless dates or wait? What? What was that? Bring that back. Bring that back.
Great.
Oh no. Oh, there it is. Or seedless grapes as a snack. So I love seedless grapes. I will sit. Donna usually buys this like big bucket at the supermarket, and then at the fair, the flea market that we go to, there's always like farmer market part, and I grab. It's like 2 big bags of grapes, seedless grapes for $5. So I grab them, and I'll sit there at night and I eat them while I watch movies or play video games and stuff. I absolutely love them. I don't think I ever had a date.
We get them at Sam's, the Medjool. I had to look up the name of them. Medjool dates. They're dried. They're dried dates, but they're good. But the thing I like to do with the seedless grapes is to put them in the microwave. You split them in half, and you do the
electricity.
Yeah, the plasma.
The plasma.
Yeah, that's fun.
Science. Dates look like just like oversized raisins. At least that's the picture that I'm looking at. They look like big ass raisins.
They're good though. They're really sweet.
Okay, I'll have to try them. I've never had them. I like a dry date.
I actually take them and grind them up and make like I take those and raisins and some different things and grind them up and put them in and make like a log out of them and put powdered sugar over top of it and slice it.
Damn,
it's really good.
Here you go. All right.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Stick some grapes in the freezer. They're like nature's popsicles. I do like when they're cold. I definitely like when they're cold. And now I want grapes. I have to wait till Sunday when the flea market's here so I can go get some. All right. Next question, please. John without an H, can you explain the mushroom picture inside junk?
I'll tell John and I are supposed to talk tomorrow. I'll explain it to him then.
No, now everyone's going to want to know. So we're going to have to just tell them.
So there was this little mushroom that we were in this one little we were in a crystal shop or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that crystal shop?
Crystal shop in Grafton.
Yeah, and it like they have sage and they had these little things. Well, they had these little mushrooms there, and I held it up and I said it looked like a butt plug.
For an elf.
A Smurf butt plug.
Yeah, and then that's it. Like the rest of the weekend, anytime the idea of a mushroom came up, it was like, oh, butt plug. And what did we see? Didn't we see like little? I think one of the booths had like little like crocheted monsters and stuff.
So, I don't remember.
Because some of the Fallout reenactors had big mushroom hats.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And you did you looked over and you're like, mushrooms on their head. I was like, all I see is a giant butt plug now. Is it possible? No. This is what happens. This is punishment, John without an H. Ask questions. There's a reason we didn't want to say it.
You can't handle the truth.
This show, butt plugs.
But okay, so here's the thing. Just so people know, I used to teach the psychology of human sexuality, and so all this weird stuff. Well, it's not weird, but this stuff that's out there. Some of it's weird. I used to teach all of that in a college level class. So whenever I see anything that's vaguely phallic or anything like that, I'm like, yeah, there.
He brings it up.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone sees it.
If it's burnt into my mind, it needs to be burned and seared into other people's as well.
Yes. Share the torture. Okay. All right. What else we got, Tim? Carl, Kenny, could a 10-foot Bigfoot actually survive off a vegan diet? I don't know. That is not my wheelhouse. So I couldn't answer that straight up. I'm going to assume and speculate. So I want to make sure that disclaimer's out there that probably not. If we're talking about
there's omnivores and there's herbivores. If it were, I mean, but Jeff Meldrum talks about how the teeth in them are formed. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they know how the teeth are formed, but
We don't have teeth.
but because of the way the teeth, they have this whole thing about the morphology of them and the way that the mouth is shaped, that they are omnivores. That, according to some of these people who are far more learned in it than I, but that there's no actual body to confirm that.
So I just looked up gorillas, and
Julianne's talking about gorillas.
The great and powerful Google says that gorillas are primarily herbivores, meaning they primarily eat plants. They consume a wide variety of vegetables, including leaves, stems, bark, fruits, and seeds. They may occasionally consume insects or insect larvae, but this is a small part of their overall diet. Interesting. I did not know that. Bodybuilders can be vegan. I mean, as long as you're getting the protein that you need. Like I said, this is not my wheelhouse. I've never actually looked this up. So now I'm curious.
But they could scavenge too if they found like dead meat, like dead deer.
Would they dive into it? Let's ask Google. Is Bigfoot a meat eater? Oh, it says yes. I mean, yes, based on reported sightings and analysis of potential diet, Bigfoot is considered omnivorous.
Omnivorous. Omnivore.
There's an S on the end.
Omnivorous.
It eats both meat and plants. While some reports suggest a focus on fruits, berries, and other vegetation, others include consumption of fish, deer, elk, and even livestock. There's also evidence of them consuming grubs, insects, and even scavenging for food. I don't know what the evidence is, because, like, again, we haven't found actual scat that can be linked directly to a Bigfoot. We don't have a Bigfoot to identify a Bigfoot as being a Bigfoot to identify against. So at
the conferences that I've been to, they'll talk about how fast they can run. They can run 30 miles an hour in small bursts. They can, the average size of their foot is this. They're this color. They're this. I mean, when you're making stuff up.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I see what's going on. I was eating dinner and had to jump on the clearly wrong answer by Kay. That's why I gave the disclaimer, because I knew I didn't know what I was talking about. But no, you're right. I'm glad. I'm happy that people can jump in and provide some good information. Tim's going crazy with the shit. Land mammals on a vegan diet. On African elephant, nice. Grasses, leaves, thymes. Wow, white rhinoceros, yes. Hippopotamus, damn. Okay, yeah. See, totally not my wheelhouse, but this is great. I love this. So it's definitely possible that they could be vegans.
But is it probable or likely?
I don't know. Bigfoot probably the top-rated creature that no one has ever captured to study, but yet we know the most information about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it beats out ghosts and aliens and UFOs and lake monsters and stuff like that.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you turn around, they're places that they're not even, like West Virginia didn't used to have a whole lot of Bigfoot stuff. I remember one time probably in the 1970s, not the 1870s, the 1970s, that there was a report on WSAZ Television 3
Okay.
That that there were Bigfoot tracks. Bob Brenner did the news segment on it. Now, how I can remember that, I do not know, but I it's one of those little things that I remember from my youth that made an impression on me. And then once in a while they have Bigfoot shows. They talk about them being out west. They talk about them being and then not now. All of a sudden, every time they're everywhere. They're all over West Virginia. They're all over Florida. They're all over everywhere.
So, Tim Binga, I have a question for you because he put up that the largest mammal, I get the blue whale, is the largest mammal on the planet, right? Yeah, largest vegan mammal ever. So I'm confused here. I'd have to look at it more, but I want to put it out there. It says blue whales primarily eat krill, which are tiny shrimp-like crustaceans, and then crustaceans mean like an aquatic group such as like crab, lobster. Are krill not animals?
So they're vegetarian. Because they're pescatarian. Are they pescatarians? Because that's what you can eat fish if you're a pescatarian, right?
Oh wait, so we're going with the Catholic thing here. Like fish don't count as meat.
Yeah, fish are real.
Oh, that's bullshit.
They're fake. They're fake meat. They're like Impossible Burgers.
That's bullshit. That's cheating. That's not vegan. Oh man, I will die on this hill. No. It's an animal. I'm looking at a picture of it. It's got eyes. It's got legs. It's swimming around. It's alive. It's an animal. It's meat.
It's got eyes.
I fucking hated that when I was growing up. Oh, you can't eat meat on the Good Friday and then all this shit on Lent, and it's like you're eating fish. You're eating tuna. It's meat. Oh man.
We were Baptists. We didn't have that problem.
Okay. I hated that. Oh my god. That's deep down repressed trauma that's coming back up. All right. What else have we got? Good night, Pump. Take it easy. Sleep time for me. Kenny, have you worked with police on an investigation? I will say yes, but probably not in the sense that you think. Like police haven't reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you look at this and give us your opinion?" It's more so where I've contacted police departments and talked to either the liaison for public relations, or I've talked to the detectives in charge of the case and asked or discussed specific information, questions that I've had, filed reports, and stuff like that. So it's that's just really as far as I've gone with working with the police. So I don't want to give that impression that like I'm solving cases for them. Even one as far as signing up for the search for a body. I've done that, and it's what's going on there.
I've got my little nieces are they're coming in and they're saying, "Hi, Uncle D."
Hey,
this is my friend Kenny.
Hello.
Come
I don't
here.
know if you can see me.
Come here, honey. Don't turn off my computer. Okay.
No time is set.
Oh, hello.
This is Addie. And then I've got the other one.
Take this off.
Yeah, take off.
It's like, here's one. Where's the other one?
Come here, honey. You go that direction.
Yeah, E-rated part. Everyone.
This is my other little niece, Alina.
Hello.
Okay. All right. There you go.
So yeah, that's as far as I've worked with police. And they've always been very nice and professional. And I understand, like, sometimes calling in. I called in and spoke to a detective once. That was many of the cases are still active, so they can't send me stuff. Like a recent case that will be published probably Monday that I worked on. I tried to get certain files, and I was assured that, I could get a copy of certain things, but was ultimately denied because it's still an open case, which is understandable. I get it, because they don't know me from squat. But yeah, that's as far as I worked with police. I'd love to work more. Like if a psychic ever gets involved and they want to have a skeptical person like in there to counter what the psychic is saying, I'm more than willing. You call me morning, noon, or night, I will be on that case. Absolutely. I've worked hundreds of cases with law enforcement. Yes. That's kind of like, ain't that part of your job? Yeah, I think that's cheating. But no, you do. Tim does really good work. Really, really good and important work. So I have nothing but respect for what he does. I don't know if I could do it, but he does great work. All right. What else we got here? Do we have any more? We're doing good. Cat Mac. Did the Grafton Monster supposedly have a neck like an owl? Otherwise, that dude had no chance of hunting. Hey, fellas, my eyes are down here. I mean, so this is one of the popular representations of it. So yes, the red nipples are not nipples; they're his eyes. But there's been various versions of this, and I think because the original description was from the back, so you only saw the back, and so the description says there was no discernible head associated with it. But as you discovered many years later, it wasn't a monster at all that they were describing. It was something else entirely.
Are you a good monster or are you a bad monster? I'm not a monster at all.
I'm not a monster. You're a monster. Oh, put this guy up here. There you go. Let me sit up there.
They called it the headless horror. That was one of the monikers that goes by is the headless horror. Horror, HORROR.
Yeah.
Horror.
Horror.
I have to be careful with my accent.
Well, one of the viewers that we have, she comes in once in a while. Her name is Har of Horror. And I have to really say her name slowly, so I'm not like Horror of Horror. The Grafton Monster still the neck. So yeah, as far as I know, like the classic description does not describe a head or neck. So
no,
that's why all the eyes are down low, like, and it's either at the nipple area or somewhere in the shoulders.
And that's from Fallout 76. That's sort of the way it looks. But which the guy had a really cool costume. That's the other thing from the festival. There was a guy walking around in a Grafton Monster, and he actually did one of the talks on how he made the costume and or making costumes and such. But
yeah, I mean I felt bad for him. I mean I've done cosplay, and I know heavy full body costumes. I mean, anyone that does cosplay and wears a costume even remotely close to that knows that you are in for an entire day of being soggy. You are sweating the entire time. And his costume is even worse because it was that, like, I think the inside was that yellow foam insulation.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's the worst thing that you can put in there. Worst. So yeah, and he had it on, and luckily we finally saw like the front part of it is held on by magnets, so it actually comes off, gives them little ventilation. But holy crap,
he had one of these things too that he wore.
Yes.
These inside of it. And yeah, he's sweaty color.
Bring up the picture up. So this is, I don't want to bring that picture up, but I had we got our picture taken with them. So in case you didn't see it, because I did post it on Facebook, I don't think I posted it on YouTube, so you guys didn't see that yet. But I will show you what it looks like. I was going to, but oh wait, I'm on the wrong guy. I'm on the wrong profile. That's why I don't see the picture. Damn it. Let me see here. Going down. Oh, there's all the stuff that I got. There's the remnants of my. Oh, there it is. Let me see here. Share screen, window, and boom. There we are. So that's the costume. The guy walking around in it. And I mean, that is the part where you see where his thighs are. Right there. That is spandex. But that's it. The rest of this is just foam. So you're basically trapped inside of a body-sized heater that does not let heat escape. And like every time he took it off, you saw like just everything was just all soaked. Poor guy. But he was a good guy. He went around to everyone. He got pictures with everyone. They were giving out. I don't have it here with me. I think I have it at home. The bottle caps.
Yeah, I got yeah.
Yeah, it was custom bottle caps, probably because of Fallout. But it had the Grafton Monster and the skeleton of the Grafton Monster on it, which was really cool. Yeah, it would be horrible to be in that costume. I did a big. Go ahead.
As hot as it was, I mean, I'm seriously it's amazing that he was able to do that all day on Friday, because you'd see him walking along and going up the hills, and you'd see him moving. It was yeah. And I mean, the hill that Donna was on, like she was halfway up a hill, and you had to keep going. And every time I went up there to see her and then like refill our lemonade, I was like, son of a bitch. This is a freaking hill. How are people doing this? This is not right. But yeah, he made his way, but he lumbered. Yeah. You could see him lumbering around. I give him credit, man. He took it for the scene. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, we're over the 2-hour mark, so that means we get to play Tim's song. So hold on, let's take another break, and we will do Tim's song here for our commercial. So we'll be back in 2 minutes and 4 seconds from now.
Vickers is his name. Moderating is the game. Pinch hitting while Donna's away. He's a tortured soul with a single goal: to keep the jack trolls at bay. Let's the show go into hour 304. But if you really will show you the door. You've been Vickers. You've been Vickers. You've been Vickers. You've been Vickers. Tim loves physics, history, animals, and a good mystery. Misconceptions he loves to slay. He's an easygoing chap, goes and pulling his teeth out of
Oh, I love that. Donna cracks up every time the part that comes on where the guy crashes through the door. She cracks up every time she sees that. All right, we're back. Let's get back into these questions. We still got quite a few. They keep piling up. That's because Tim's like, I'm here all night. I don't care. Where Donna's like, nope, cutting it off. Puts a banner up. No more questions. All right, what do we got, Tim? Dun, 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 dun. If he's back there, he's probably just still peeing. He might be peeing. Let's see. So I do see that one. We did the Cat Mac one, and then the next one, I want to put it up here. Is it true that in some parts of the planet that time runs backwards? Damn, that was fast. Sorry, Tim. So no. As we know it, time is linear, only goes in one direction. So as far as anywhere on the planet goes, no, there is no place on the planet that time runs backwards.
It runs it slower, because as I understand it, because of height, but not backward. Because if there is, I'm going to go there and I'm going to regress myself. I'm going to regenerate like Doctor Who.
Oh, there you go. Care packages for Kenny now include dates and mushrooms. Oh, if I get a package that has a butt plug, I'm gonna slap your address on it and just send it right down to you.
That's funny.
A couple more in there. Did I ever? So here's the disgusting story. You might want to cover your ears for the next minute or so. When I lived in Philly, there was a big flea market that we used to go to. Really, really big. Usually like 300-400 vendors, easy. And we took a friend of ours that was into, like, she was a reseller. She did events every weekend, reselling things she'd pick up. And we're walking around, and here's one booth. We're looking. There's various like utensils, like old silverware, stuff like that. Look down. There's a bag that's open. Look down, and it is all used toys.
Not the kind you have on your shelf.
Not the kind you give your kids. The kind that usually have D-cell batteries and or a power AC cord going to the wall. Used and for sale. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, I am not coming back here anymore. No. Anyway, thought I'd gross you all out for that. So let's move on to the next question. Yay. Well, Kenny just submitted all his birthday Christmas gifts. Yeah, I know. Oh my God, I can't imagine the next package I'm going to get. Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I thought of. Thanks, John, without an age. I mean, it's the first thing I thought of. Mushrooms, dates, and adult toys. You can send dates. Don't send mushrooms. I can't eat mushrooms. Like, the texture, it just grosses me out. I don't eat them. So don't send mushrooms. Do you know the names of all of Santa's reindeer? Asking for a friend, as they've never seen you in the same place together. Are you saying I'm Santa? Is that a fat joke? There's Donna and Dancer and Blitzen. Comet and Cupid. Something in Blitzen. And then Rudolph.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen.
There you go. Well, there you go.
Do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed
reindeer
had a very shiny nose.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, so there you go. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate the question.
Any excuse to get me to break out in song, I'm all for it.
I know. Yeah.
I can sing Rock, Paper, Scissors, Lizard, Spock for them. No, I'm not going to. I'm not.
That's a good game. All right. How could you tell they were used?
Yeah.
Well, they were all in the bag together, and let's just say that I've cleaned enough stuff to know when it's been used. Like, I don't know if you're right. I can't say that it was used in the intended purpose use. I'm trying to do stuff with my hands that are not indicative of what's going on. But let's say there was various stains on the outer shells. I'm just going to leave. Yeah, shut up, Tim. Yes. All right. Next question. Thanks, Tim. Good save. What is worse to you? Someone that fakes things in an old haunted building, or someone that claims to rid your house of demons? Okay. So is it someone that fakes things in an old haunted house, or someone that claims to rid your house of demons? What's worse? I would. This is hard. This is difficult, because if in both cases you got to prove one way or the other, and like earlier today during a members live, Cree and I were actually talking about kind of stuff like this, about proving and not proving and stuff. So I guess if they're faking things, we have to figure out how they're faking it and what they're doing. So I don't like that. I also don't like the fact if people are going into someone's house and saying, you have demons. What convinced you of this? What evidence is being presented that you are confident that there are, not only that there are demons inside your house, but that you have the ability to get rid of them? I mean, because we can do the same thing. Both of us can go to your house and say, yeah, you have demons, and for $49.95, I'll get rid of them. And that's it. You won't know the difference, if you're not checking, if you're not, paying attention to what we're doing or asking questions or what have you. So I think for me, this is even. I do not like either one, because I think both of these are likely taking advantage of homeowners. What do you think?
I think that it's the one that fakes things in an old haunted house, because to me, one person is knowingly and willfully deceiving someone, whereas the other person might be misguided and think that they are genuinely doing something for that person. They may be casting out, saging, or whatever. They're just misguided. They believe they're doing it. They think they're helping, but they don't know any better, because they think that's the reality of it. Whereas the other person is a blatant fraud.
Good point.
So,
yeah, I can see that, and I can agree with that, because yeah, one person is deliberately doing something, the other one. Well, I guess the more I look at this, the more I don't know. I don't know if the second person is deliberately doing it.
well, that's the thing. But now see, the one I'm pointing at, like you can see it, the one says that they specifically fake things, and the other one's just making a claim. So the one knows that they're doing something that's unethical, whereas the other one could be either or.
Right. But I guess it's how it's phrased here.
Yeah, I'm going to be charitable and give the second person the benefit of the doubt and say they're misguided.
Okay.
But the first one, I think, is just a pox on humanity. It needs to be eradicated with copious amounts of penicillin.
Wow. You went dark. like no hesitation whatsoever. You just like straight to the dark side. Boom.
I have a red lightsaber.
No. Okay. Woo. So does Binga. It's in his office. All right. Let's see. What else do we got? That was a good question. Old question. Which is more dangerous? The person faking the claim, or the one believing they can perform the claim? Ah, yes. Who's the more foolish? The fool or
I think
the fool?
both are equally dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is, yeah. Because you have someone that's faking deliberately, again, they're being purposely deceitful, usually for profit, and then the other one making the claim that they can. I mean, I see that. I think I see the second one with a lot of psychics that have been that grew up in an area like either a household or in a community where they expressed a possibility and it was reinforced without question, without actually testing it. It was more, okay, let's try to figure this out. And that particular person has grown to believe through reinforcement that they have some kind of extrasensory ability to speak with ghosts or predict something about someone's life. And then when they run into somebody that challenges that belief and can challenge it in a proper way, not just point fingers and mock or anything like that, but actually can sit down and perform a test or design a test to properly challenge it. It's very confusing and or life shattering, because that has been your worldview for so long, and all of a sudden, boom, your belief is crushed. That's interesting.
Well, I did an article where I talk about faith healing, the folkloric faith healing. And my great grandmother, she, when they say, "Oh, she's a witch," well, so they didn't mean she was like a witch in terms of she wasn't a pagan, she wasn't, she's a witch, burn her, burn her. But she would remove warts, and she could stop blood if you had a wound. She could stop it from bleeding, and all these things. So I went through and analyzed how all these different claims about these folkloric faith healers, and there was no malice in their intent, but they genuinely believed it. But yet it could have extremely detrimental effects. Like you could have a wart, but it could be some sort of skin cancer, so you got to get that checked out. And so while you think that you were waiting on the wart to go away because the nice witch lady made it, did her hocus pocus on it, it's still developing, and you're not getting medical care. And there's still people that believe that sort of stuff to this day. So,
wow, yeah, it's pretty good. I just linked your article in the chat, so if people want to go read it, check it out. It's a good article. I enjoy your work. I really do.
Well, thank you.
I mean, sometimes it's difficult being around you, but I enjoy your work. Likewise, I'm sure.
Yeah,
no,
in fairness, you didn't make that much fun of my driving this weekend.
I know.
And even, you had opportunity to.
I was so happy. We went to dinner at a restaurant, and he pulled into the second open spot. I mean, he missed the first, but he pulled into the second open spot. I was like, what is happening?
And it was a terrible spot. It was a terrible spot.
Where am I? This is an alternate universe. Did I jump dimensions? What's going on here? Great spot. It was right in front of the door.
It had a huge pothole right there. Like it was terrible.
Over.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. If I'd been by myself, I would not have parked there.
No, I know. You would never have parked there. But I'm proud of you. You did good. All right. Feral Goth Gal. In the same vein of that question, do you think it's fair many cities are requiring you to pay for FOIA requested materials, or does that prevent access to the truth? Let me hold on. Gotta look it up, make sure, because I totally having a brain fart on what that stands for.
Freedom of Information Act.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So I haven't done many of those. I've done a few years and years ago, but I haven't had to actually file any of those. For the most part, I understand, like when I mentioned the interaction with police departments and denial of records because it's an open case, I understand why they're denying me, and I'm not going to push it. there's no need for me to push it. I can usually get by on what I spoke with the officer, about. And usually because I tell them right up front that I'm writing an article, I'm doing a video, I need this information. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. What can you tell me? And they tell me. So there is no miscommunication where I'm just trying to trick them or anything. So they're usually forthcoming. If they can't tell me, they can't tell me. The one detective years ago when I worked on a psychic and missing person case, he straight up told me, I can't tell you that. I can't reveal that information yet. And it's an open case. So I get it. And I'm not going to push because I'm not going to make their job harder because I kind of pushed or forced them to try to give me information when they're just trying to do their job. It's hard enough doing their job already. So I don't want to make it harder. Do you think it's fair? I think it is fair because there are so many people that are just, I'm going to speak overall here, that I think there's so many people that just feel entitled to every little thing. Yes, a lot of this information will be public information, but if it's an ongoing case, some of that information can have dire effects or impact the victims. So you don't want to reveal some of that information, and if you're trying to force it, you're just making everyone's lives harder. So if I have to file something like this, I will. But for me, it's never been a matter of life and death. So I see no reason to push the issue until a later time, maybe a few months later when the case is actually closed, and then I can get the records that I want and do a follow-up. So hopefully I answered your question. Body cam, police call logs, more. Yeah. And again, like most of the time I don't need that stuff because it's either if I can find news agencies that have already done that. Like with the case with the Las Vegas boy that after the meteor went over, I think a year or so ago, and he claimed that aliens landed in his backyard and he called 911 and they had the cops come out. The local news already made those requests and got the body cam footage. So I was able to see it via the news crew. So I was able to see the raw footage and no big deal. I didn't have to file that request. But in a lot of cases, there is a need for someone to gather the materials and scan them and then prepare them for, so it does take work. I mean, most of the places, they tell you up front, all of the police departments, when you fill out the forms to request information, they tell you up front, it's going to be this much like per copy or depending on what you need and how long it takes. There's even per hour charges for how much they have to dig into the records and find stuff, which, I mean, I'm okay with, because if I do want it, then I'll pay it. But
the information's free, not the processing.
Right. Yeah, the information is there, but if you want me to get it for you, you're going to have to pay, which I get, again, because, I mean, shit, if they're in Salt Lake City or Los Angeles or something, I'm not going there anytime soon. And if it's going to cost me $20 for them to pull a record and send it to me, or even $50 for them to research something for me and then send it to me, that's much cheaper than me jumping on a plane and flying out there to find it myself. So, and they're going to know where it is. They're going to know where everything is much better than I do. So I'm good with that. I don't mind. I don't mind. Because you're right. Like, it really does come down, I think, to the information, yes, is free for the most part, but getting to it takes time and effort and work. So, good question.
I had to think about it. I'd never really thought about that before. So I like that question.
Hey, Pam, don't most police only call on psychics when they are completely hopeless? As far as I've come in my own experience, I have not come across police that have reached out to psychics. It's always been the other way. psychics have either reached out to the police or went through the family. The family contacted the psychic, and then they got involved somehow like that. So, and again, I'm going to stress that in my experience, in the cases that I've worked on, it's never been the police that have reached out to the psychic. It's always been the other way.
So I had a professor who I have a minor in criminal justice, and so I had a professor who was from. It was in the Daytona, Florida. He was the chief of police down in that area, and that question came up in class one time, and somebody asked him about the psychics that were involved in solving cases, and he said that never happens. And that was his response. He said that never happens. You'll see it on TV. It's usually them contacting the police. Right. So, but he said we never ever, because they have to have evidence, and you can't make a court case with there's no evidence to say, well, you got a feeling. I mean, can you imagine an attorney saying, where did you get what's your foundation for your evidence to be admissible into court? Yeah, that's what I think. So.
Right. I always encourage, like, if someone that claims to be a psychic has said that they worked on police cases, and we've gone through this many times. Tim has actually been there when we've asked about it. He's actually asked the psychic for me because the person wouldn't talk to me. But when they say they worked on murder cases or missing person cases, and that police have reached out or they've worked with the police, always ask. Actually, ask the police. Call the police department. Find out what department that they worked with, allegedly, and call them. Because you'll find out in most cases that there is no record of them. When I called the one detective that wouldn't give me a lot of information, when I mentioned the psychic's name, he's like, never heard of him. I'm like, well, sometimes he goes by this name. Nope, never heard of him. Have no idea who that person is. And he wanted information on who that psychic was, because he's like, I don't know who this person is. And they're taking credit for something. And so you always have to make sure that they actually were involved. The one case that I did with, it was a missing child that was recovered and safely. But a psychic went on the local news and said that she helped the police solve the case. Like, she gave information to the police that solved the case. And when I talked to the police, they said, no, she only repeated stuff that the police had told the family. So this is why I always say, fact check, make sure, call the police department. There's usually a liaison that you can talk to, and say, hey, this is what I heard in the news. Is there any truth to this? And they'll usually be upfront, unless it's an open case and the information is relevant to them solving the case. They might not give that to you, but in most cases, if the case is closed, they will tell you. So always check. Good question though. Good question. I like that. Whew. All right. What else we got? Carl, when a new species is found, is it always the founder who gets to name it? I don't know. Oh, that reminds me. I have to call Aaron because he found some fossils when he was up here. He found one before he came up here, and then one while he was here that he was going to consultants with, like top experts in the field, because what he had found was unidentifiable by everyone that he talked to so far. And there was a good chance they were telling him that you might have found a new species. And he was going to get to name it. Did you look that up?
Yeah, I did.
I heard your keys going. And I'm sure Tim Vickers is in the background looking it up too. What do you see?
I see that while it's traditionally the person who first describes and publishes the discovery of the new species is typically entitled to propose its name, it's not always the case that the founder always gets to name it. And here's why. And it goes on and on and on. There's a lot of reasons that it doesn't necessarily happen.
Okay. Well, there you go. Then you don't necessarily get to, but maybe. I guess it depends on the name. Like if you're an a-hole and you come up with a really smart ass kind of name, they might not want to name it that.
I want to discover a dinosaur, and I'm going to call it the Rhedosaurus Rex.
And they're going to be like, no, that's dumb. No,
Well, I get to name it as a Rhedosaurus.
Rhedosaurus. It's a Rhedosaurus. Oh my gosh. All right. Next question, please. Kit Ford. Daniel, are you going to the Veggie Man Day?
I believe I am.
Ask
me about the Vegetable Man.
That's neat. I like that. Oh, I got some.
These boots are made for stalking. I'm going to try. That's on my list of. There's a lot of fairs and festivals around. I'm not going back to the Mothman for a good long while, but
so I collect MetaZoo cards, which is like kind of like a what's that card game?
Magic the Gathering,
Magic or like stuff like that.
Pokemon, is that a game?
Pokemon. So Eric behind the wall got me into these MetaZoo cards because they are based on real cryptids, or not real, like real cryptids. And the one that I didn't have that I wanted, I got last weekend, and it was Veggie Man. So I got it. I was so happy. I had to buy like 6 packs of the cards. And I was like, this is the one that came out of it. I'm like, this is the one I want. Okay. It was worth it. It was worth it. So now I have a Veggie Man. I got all kinds of stuff. I have like, what do I have here? I have Men in Black.
Also originating in West Virginia, Men in Black.
Yes. You got everything. Oh, there's the Hodag that we were
not
talking about.
Originating in West Virginia.
Not. and totally a hoax.
Totally a hoax.
Totally a hoax. A known hoax. All right. That was good. Veggie Day. What is it like a festival?
Yeah, it's in the History Center at Fairmont, where there's at the West Virginia Folk Life Center in Fairmont. It's they have like some of the speakers that were there at the Grafton Monster. They have them come in. There's like these 2 guys that were also at the festival, the Moth Boys. They have a podcast, and they, so yeah, it's the same sort of thing, and they have vendors. It's a smaller venue because it's in a building. So
okay, all right, yeah, you guys in West Virginia, you got way too many. I think there's a disproportional amount of cryptids in West Virginia than anywhere else in the world.
Well, we had people who made a lot of moonshine too.
I like moonshine.
Yeah,
I do. It's good. Whew. All right, next question. We're getting down to the wire. We're actually knocking out some of these because we're awesome. Yeah, that's right, Tim. You guys are awesome. Kenny, in the Native Indians tribe, speak of many things from Bigfoot to spirits. What do you think of all of this? So I know there's a lot of oral traditions, and what I would probably consider folklore associated with those traditions. Do I think there's any truth to it? I don't personally buy into it. Like when they talk about like creatures that look like Sasquatch or something like that, they could be part of the story. Like how we have different gods and goddesses and native spirits and that control different things, aspects of like the weather and crops and stuff like that. When it comes to these creatures, I don't buy into it, just like I don't buy into a religious aspect of that or the basic paranormal beliefs. of ghosts and spirits and angels and demons and stuff like that. To me, it's just there's a lack of information, there's a lack of evidence to support it. If all you're bringing to the table, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way. I don't want to. When I said that, it just sounded bad. When you are presenting oral tradition or even written traditions, it's still stories. Whether there was something solid, real, physical that they base that story on, I don't know. And I don't see any evidence for it. So I simply don't buy into it. So I hope that answered your question, Tara. What do you think, Daniel?
I think that there's a lot of misinterpretation. That's a modern sort of thing comparatively. And so there's a lot of these stories that talk about wild men or spirits of the woods or something of that nature. And I think that we've sort of superimposed, oh, that kind of sounds like Bigfoot, and kind of absconded with some of their mythology. But I mean, and the other thing is it's a claim, like you were saying. It's, if you look at it, the stories, to me, they're claims. They're not evidence. They're anecdotes. They're claims to be tested, or they could be tested. I mean, maybe they can't, but they're still a claim. Just because they're saying it doesn't make, and just because a lot of people say it doesn't mean that, and a lot of tribes have that, or a lot of ancient peoples have that, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true.
Right.
So,
right. I get it. Yeah, it's difficult. I understand, like, there's a lot of weight put on to such traditions, and I think it's the argument from antiquity. I think that's what it is, where because it's been around for so long that it must be true, because it's talked about for so long and for centuries and this and that, and that's just it's a logical fallacy, because just because it's been around for a long time doesn't mean it's actually something that's true.
And argumentum ad populum, I think it is, where just because a bunch of people believe it doesn't make it true.
Right.
I've got two little people right there that believe in Santa Claus, and there's a whole bunch of people that believe in Santa Claus, but that doesn't make Santa Claus, except if you Kenny Claus.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you sit on my lap, it might give you a surprise.
See, you made it weird, man.
Hey there, Daniel. You got pretty.
That's not what I wanted for Christmas.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh my. All right. All right. Let's see. Can anyone get this kind of information from the police? So again, it depends. I guess you're talking about like information on a case. You can get a lot of information. For instance, I can say that, like, when I went to the Monroe house, I stopped by the local police. There was a story about them finding human remains in the basement. And there was a police report filed at one point, but only one. And I went to the police department. I talked to the officer that came to the window, talked to him, told him why I was there. He was like, all right, let me look. And he immediately went back, found the report. And again, like, even though there's talk of multiple reports, there was only one. So he went back. He said, is this what you're looking for? I said, yep. He's like, okay, I'll give you a copy that's redacted, because he was protecting, like, the officer, I guess, or certain things were redacted. Not a lot, but certain things. And they give you the information. They give me a copy of the page. When I do fill out certain requests, I do get like photos or documents, police report, accident report that is available. You can get it. It's just you have to know who to talk to and go through the proper channels. You can't just go directly to a police officer sometimes and say, I want this. Because especially now, they're going to direct you either to headquarters, where you have to go in person, or you fill out online. they usually have a section of their website where you fill out the information, and you need, like, if you have the document number or the case number, that's great. That helps it out. But then you have to put in, like, the name, the date of the incident, the time of the incident, exactly what you want or what you're requesting, and then where you're from. Like, are you from the media? And that's probably an advantage for me, because I do, the media is described as people that do publish their work. So that's what I do. Or you just have to let them know if this is for personal or for media coverage. And then you go from there. But they give you fees, they give you the price list, and you can get some of that information. So it's interesting. I mean, it does shed a lot of light on the case when you do get the officer's words. Like, that's usually what I'm trying to get, is the not just the police officer's words, but the interviews, the witness interviews at the time, because that's the closest to the incident, the account that's closest to the incident, because usually the police show up and they interview the witnesses right away, and you're getting that raw information right away as soon as possible, which is what I'm looking for. And it's not like either like a retelling by somebody else that maybe didn't read the report and was just listening to a story by the officer telling them, or something like that. I'd like to get it right from the report. That way I can quote it, and I get the most accurate information. So I hope that helped you. I know I'm babbling now. All right. What else we got? We getting down the line? We're getting down there. We might actually be able to wrap this up in like 15 minutes. I think people are looking for like hour 4. I don't think so.
Dun, dun, dun.
We got anything, Tim? No? Is Tim peeing?
No more.
No more. Oh, we're good.
No more. No
All
more.
right. Sweet. Okay. We are out. So I guess we can start wrapping it up. So Daniel, what do you have on the horizon? What's coming up from you?
Well, I'll see, July 23rd, I think it is, John Without an H. I think I'm going to be doing a presentation for the Triangle Skeptics, an online presentation. So I'll post that so people can sign up for that if they want. I've got some things later near October 18th. We have the first ever Skepticon. For not Skepticon, what do we call it? Skepticamp for West Virginia. That's going to be at the Clarksburg Harrison Public Library. So there'll be that, and I don't know. It's hard to tell. And Tim is speaking. Yes, Tim is speaking. Yes, Kenny's speaking.
Yes.
Yes, Susan Gerbic, I think, is coming to it. So she's going to speak. My buddy Chris is going to speak. Gerald Turner is going to speak. We've got some local folks, and then we've got some people from out. So
Awesome.
in case you're wondering, you're one of the people from out.
I'm one of the people from out.
You're one of the people from out. That's what we call people. Yeah, that's what we call people that aren't from here. You're from out.
Weird. You're weird.
I'm not weird. It's a cultural thing. Hey, you insulting my culture? My West Virginia Appalachian? No, man, I'm not going to stand for
that. All right, good. Is that it? You got anything else?
There's a few things, but I can't remember the dates and all that good stuff. I think I'm going. Well, I'm scheduled to speak at Dragon Con in Atlanta. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess for me, I have. Let's see. The next thing I have coming up. Well, next week's going to be busy. I got a lot of stuff that's not paranormal related per se with work, but Nickel City Comic-Con is next weekend. So if anyone's in the Buffalo area, you want to go to Comic-Con, I'll be there, hang out, like just walking around. So come hang out with me. Let's see, presentation. So July.
Cool, John. Cool.
Not doing that. I'm speaking of Dragon Con. Oh, awesome. That's cool. I like that. I don't have anything in July. I think I have a break for a little bit. until October. October is when it kicks up again. The 10th, October 10th, I'll be in Indiana, Pennsylvania at the Historical Society in the town doing a presentation. It's like a workshop. I'm going to be talking about ghost hunting equipment, which is going to be a longer version of what I did at the Grafton Monster Festival because I added dowsing rods. I'm going to talk about that shit. And then the following weekend, as you mentioned, October 18th, I'll be down there with you guys hanging out. And that's it. So if anyone's watching either now or on the repeat and you have an event that you're planning or helping with and you would like a skeptical approach or skeptical representation at your event, reach out to us. See if we can make it. If the schedule is open, I'd love to join in and see what we can do, what we can help out. So in September, you have a talk online for We Can Reason. Oh yeah, I do. Do I have that? I think I do. Hold on a second. Let me make sure now. I know I have it set up. Museum, West Virginia. Oh wait, oh, there it is. Yeah, September 24th. Oh wait, that's webinar for Rocky Mountain Atheists. Is that it? Is that the We Can Reason? I think so. Do you have a speaker's fee? That's a good question. And for me, I only ask that if you can cover travel expenses, that's it. I don't have a separate speaker's fee. Just if you really want me there, if it's close by, like an hour away, I'll drive, no problem. But if I have to stay overnight, I usually try to ask like for the hotel for the night and just gas money. That's it. So pay for his security. Yeah, so nobody kicks my ass after Tim goes to bed. All right. With that said, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us on a Friday night. Oh, Kid Ford, bacon. Yes, absolutely bacon. I mean, if you feed me, that's awesome. I will love you forever and ever and ever and ever. But have a great weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Get out there, learn stuff, and be safe and all that stuff. So with that said, Daniel, hang out for a little bit, and we will close the show. I will be back next week, again without Donna. Hopefully Tim can fill in next week too, because Donna is still on vacation because she's a slacker. All right, with that, we're out. See you next week.
Hey, diddle diddle, here's a little riddle. Who's the best at bunker? Is it Kenny Biddle? Oh, he's good, not just a little. Not at the bottom or even the middle. Strike a chord like a fiddle. Tasting the rainbow like a skittle. That's fragile and brittle. You can watch him take a problem and start to riddle the problem away. He does not play. He takes his job so seriously. He loves a challenge and won't turn you away. He's such a skeptic, he keeps stones believers exposing the fake. It wouldn't take him long to find a needle in hay. Use a magnet, damn it. Now take a drink of Kenny's specialty. Some may say that's not for me. To each their own, what will be. Man, Kenny's such a skeptic, drinking skeptical tea. Like and subscribe, everybody, turn notifications on. And go watch his show and forget about this song. Mr. Wizard or Bill Nye the Science Guy. Can you remember? You like Kenny better, so head to the skeptical help bar and meet the bartender. Pick up a drink and relax, cause nobody does this better. Not even close, not even a little. He's the one and only Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle.